Fact or follow-up segment tonight, why some black men are having such a hard time succeeding in America. Recently, President Obama passed the Brothers Keeper initiative, which partners, mentors, and corporations with young black males who are trying to succeed. Yesterday, the president expanded the program, saying this.
Sometimes African Americans in communities where I've worked, there's been notion of acting white, and the notion that there's some authentic way of being black, that if you're going to be black, you have to act a certain way and wear a certain kind of clothes. That, that has to go.
All right, with us now, Jason Riley, author of the brand new book, Please Stop Helping Us, How Liberals Make It Harder for Blacks to Succeed. Mr. Riley, also a member of the Wall Street Journal editorial board. I like the initiative, Brothers Keeper. Do you?
There's some good stuff in there, admirable goals. The question is whether the president's policies will actually help achieve those goals. I'll give you a good example. He says he wants higher black graduation rates for blacks. Well, we know school choice does that. We know vouchers do that. We know charter schools do that. But this administration is trying to shut down a school voucher program in Louisiana.
It doesn't want to go up against the teachers' union and the other unions,
so
which
it's good talk.
Like that.
But
this program is much narrower. It's basically getting the corporations and mentors, professional people like you and me, all right, to help individuals, black young males, who are trying. And that I think is very noble, and it works.
What we just heard the president say in that clip, I wish he talked about that all the time.
Yeah,
Sometimes I wish that's all he talked about, Bill. But that's what blacks need to hear. It's about culture, Bill, and you know that. It's about getting out of the way of the black development that has to occur in the black community.
But here's the problem with it, and this is from an outsider. I'm obviously a white guy who's never lived in a black neighborhood, but you have. You have a new study that says in the last 45 years, black men have not, done it. They're going backwards.
And it's because of the way we're trying to help. It's because of the approach taken by the Great Society programs. Blacks ultimately must help themselves. They have to develop the same habits and attitudes that other groups had to develop in order to rise in America.
But how can you do that if you're a child born into a chaotic home? See, this is the whole thing for me. And this is why I came out against that Beyonce video and the charlatans like Sharpton and these other people who refuse to deal with the cultural aspect. Say, did you have two parents?
My parents were divorced, but my father was very active in
so
my
he was around,
upbringing.
right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right. So you're a black boy, and you're born into a home, and you're poor. And you got 4 or 5 siblings from 4 or 5 different fathers, and your father's gone. He's not even around,
right.
Okay? So the message that you're sending, self-reliance, you got to, this and that, it never even gets to the kid.
Well, in terms of what the government can do, they can help stop exacerbating that situation. Open-ended welfare policies don't help a group develop a work ethic. They don't help encourage responsible parenting. Or responsible childbearing, for that matter. So the government needs to stop helping in the ways that it's helping.
To me, it's all about the community doing that. The preachers, because African Americans, generally speaking, are religious people. There's preachers all over the place. And then the neighborhood organizers and the people like that. But you don't hear that message. You don't hear it enough. Why don't you hear it?
One of the reasons you don't hear it is because the media continues to run to Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson to speak on behalf of black people. And all they want to talk about is what whites should be doing on behalf of blacks, not what blacks should do on behalf of themselves.
And why don't they want to talk about that, though?
Because they have a whole separate agenda, which is to keep themselves relevant, which means they want a narrative out there that says everything, all the problems in the black community are a result of white racism, not a result of black behavior. But the problem is the problems are cultural, as Bill Cosby talks about, as you've talked about. A black man in the White House is all well and good, but it can't replace a black man in the home. That's where it's got to start.
Do you think President Obama understands the problems are cultural?
I think he does, but when he talks about it, when he says things like he just said, he catches a huge backlash from the black left, who wants to keep the focus, again, on white behavior. So I don't think he talks about it as much as he should, because he gets...
He doesn't want to take the heat from that crew, just like the unions. He doesn't want to take.
People need to hear that message from him.
I think it's more about money than anything else. The grievance industry is a huge industry.
Yes.
And the guys that you mentioned profit by it.
Absolutely.
time.
Jesse Jackson the other day ran before the microphones after all those shootings in Chicago and said, send me $2 billion, Mr. President. What's Jesse Jackson going to do with $2 billion? Is he going to get black men to pull up their pants, take care of their kids, finish school? No, he's going to use it to line his pockets and the organizations he supports and keep the focus on what whites should be doing for blacks instead of what blacks should be doing for themselves, because that serves Jesse Jackson's interest, which is staying relevant.
All right. Jason Riley, check out his new book, Stop Helping Us.
Thank you.
All right, Jason, thanks for coming in. Plenty more as the factor moves along this evening.